Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life. With your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business. For an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. We've got a really interesting and exciting and very important show today here on Food and Beverage Magazine Live. I'm Jennifer English. I'm your editor-at-large for Food and Beverage Magazine, and today we're going to go into the industry. Well, we do that every show, but today is really special because we're going to be talking to an extraordinary organization led by an amazing woman. The organization is called CORE, the Children of Restaurant Employees. And not only during COVID is this organization providing absolutely life-saving, vital, essential services and resources to families very much in need, but they do this pre-COVID and post-COVID. I mean, this is an ongoing thing. And the kids in our industry whose parents are gone on Christmases and Mother's Days and Father's Days and other holidays, you know, they understand what it is to give up a parent in service, especially if your parents are working long, hard hours. And so these kids are already part of our industry because their contribution is the sacrifice they make in missing out on some of those times. Just ask any chef. One of the great regrets they might have is to get to the top, they've had to spend a little bit more time away from their family than they might have liked. But in return, the industry is going to welcome them back and take care of them. We take care of our own. And that's what this is all about today. Joining us now from their headquarters just outside Nashville, Tennessee, is Sheila Bennett from the Children of Restaurant Employees organization, an important charity that serves us all. And let's talk about some really exciting news that they're announcing today. We at Food and Beverage Magazine are getting the scoop, and we love it when we get a scoop. Sheila Bennett, welcome. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thank you so much for inviting us to talk about CORE today to this audience. We're super excited.
Our industry has been so hard hit. We've been hit harder than most, but we know something about the family that we are, the boys and girls in our hospitality industry who are as resilient as they come. Would you talk a little bit about the industry we are in and how an organization like CORE came to be in service to this particular population?
Oh, absolutely. A group of account managers were getting together to meet for dinner and cocktails during the restaurant show back in 2004. And as they were having conversations, you know, and people were coming to them with a lot of wonderful causes. And they started asking questions about, well, what cause really supports our industry? You know, what about the employees that are the frontline workers every day? And they rely on their income to make ends meet and support their families. What happens when they're facing a hardship like a health crisis, an injury, or there's a death in the immediate household, or they're impacted by natural disasters like the hurricanes that hit the coast, the tornadoes that have hit the Midwest and Nashville last year, or the fires, floods, you know, that they've, you know, struggled with because maybe their house burned down or their place of business was destroyed and they're out of work. What did they do? So they came together and said, why don't we create something, because we know the kids are, you know, impacted the most. And that's where they came up with the idea of CORE, Children of Restaurant Employees.
Can you talk about the size of the population that you're serving? Can we get a sense of how vast the scope is?
Well, I mean, the scope is greater than what we are serving today, but we are growing at a fast pace. For example, the organization really grew organically in the beverage space. And what I mean by that, most of these account managers worked for beverage marketing companies or beverage companies, or they were operators. So they were really reaching to that vertical to tell people about CORE. And that was one reason I came on board. Was in 2019, for example, they raised about $1 million, granted out a little over $300,000. And last year we pivoted and grew the organization 5 times.
Wow.
Times the number of families. Yeah.
Wow.
And during a pandemic. So, I mean, and I've even had questions asked to me of, like, one of my mentors and friends, Scott Shaw, who had been the founder of Fishbowl Marketing and owns Cafe Tudu Tango and other concepts outside of DC. And his question was, how are you going to raise enough money to support this industry? And I said, oh, we're well on our way. We're going to be, reaching out beyond the beverage vertical to the industry at large to support CORE. And I strongly believe with the partnerships that we're forging that we're going to grow even more so.
Let's talk a little bit about the pandemic hit.
Sorry.
It's really unreasonable, but the rules and regulations in every jurisdiction have been so different and dynamic and changing. And we know that we need to shift and adapt to moving and shifting conditions. However, I trust our industry to step up and do that and even more. We go above and beyond to make sure our guests are safe. We do more than we are asked to do oftentimes. I'll give an example. Our friends at the El Charro restaurants in Tucson came up with a 100-point preparation to welcome guests back. It's not what the county required, and it's certainly much more than anybody would have asked a reasonable operator to do. Yet operators know that this is their duty to their guests. So I trust our industry, and yet they're the ones that are being hit with 50%, 25% occupancy restrictions, no indoor dining restrictions. And again, I get all those things, but then why can I go to other places? Why can I go to markets? And why aren't other places held to such strict standards? I have political ideas about this. I'll leave those aside. But what it means is our industry has been hit harder than it deserves, one might argue, because they do try hard. And these are the same people whose children are also taking a really hard hit. Can you talk a little bit about how the pandemic is influencing and impacting your constituency and the community you serve?
Absolutely. We decided to stay true to our mission of meeting that specific criteria of if an employee or their child faces a medical crisis, an injury, death, or natural disaster, that is what we do. And we're sticking with that mission. However, we did expand it to say during COVID that if you've been diagnosed with COVID, you can't work. If you're under medical quarantine, orders to quarantine, you've got documentation for that, you can't work. So we expanded our guidelines to also include a COVID diagnosis or orders to quarantine. And even if an employee had been furloughed, but they still met that baseline criteria and applied for a grant within 6 months of that situation, and again, provided documentation, they could potentially qualify for a grant with CORE. So that's how it changed.
It's really important for people that are listening in the industry that have had some tough times or a tragedy or a trauma. Can you tell everyone how to reach out? Where is your application, if there's an application? How do we reach you in a time of crisis?
Well, go to our website because we've made it really easy. And in the year of COVID, what we did as well, the organization grew up a bit because before COVID, if we received 5 applications in 1 week, that was a big week. We're getting an average of 10 applications a day. You can go online to CoreGives, CoreGives.org, and you can apply online. And you can even upload needed documentation online. B, if you know of a family that might be going through a medical crisis, injury, death, or natural disaster, they may not have the knowledge about CORE, but you can also go online and click the Refer a Family button and refer them to us.
I also want to make sure that people know that are in our constituency and audience, and we've got lots of friends in the business, that our friends in the business can support families in need, and especially the children of restaurant employees. How can people make donations to your organization if they have just learned about you today? because not everybody knew about this before hearing about this, maybe here. I mean, we love that we could be an engine of discovery, and you've done a great job, but you're growing so much that we want to help in that awareness spread. How can we get more people to donate?
You know, there are multiple ways people can donate. Individually, you can go online and click the donate button. You can do a Facebook fundraiser. You know, think about it on your birthday. A lot of people will choose charity on their Facebook fundraisers and raise money for a cause. Also, a lot of us are buying things on Amazon these days. You can use Amazon Smiles and select CORE, Children of Restaurant Employees.
What a great idea.
We can also earn funds that way. So there are multiple ways, or you can also go to companies you know and encourage them to be a partner with CORE.
Now, a little bird told me that you have some big news, and we love that you came to Beverage Magazine with this juicy scoop. We love
my gosh.
So we're going to give that as a teaser. We're going to take a very quick break. You're listening, watching, and being here with us on Food and Beverage Magazine Live. We'll be right back with Sheila Bennett from Children of Restaurant Employees, an essential organization for the kids in our family of the community of hospitality workers and restaurant employees. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, The Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
Hey, Sheila, welcome back. Hey, everybody, this is Food and Beverage Magazine Live. I'm Jennifer English, your editor-at-large, and we have the Children of Restaurant Employees organization. Sheila Bennett is just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and another day we'll have to talk about the delicious hot chicken sandwiches that your region has become known for, but I don't want to take any thunder, attention, or crispiness away from the juicy news that you have brought to us. We have the scoop. We get to break the story, as they say here on Food and Beverage Magazine Live. So what's your big news?
Well, I have two bits of news for you. First off, we talked earlier about how people can donate to CORE, and we're launching a monthly giving program, and we're actually launching a Valentine's Day special for your sweetheart. For a $25 monthly donation, we're retiring this lovely little bear program that we had at CORE. And while supplies last, we'll be shipping a bear to anybody that signs up to be a monthly donor at $25. So that way we can build some sustainable funding.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yes. And it's a lovely way to get something back as well. And then B, we're going to be launching a pretty exciting campaign in April. And we're buttoning up the final details. It'll be mid-April, probably about April 17th, I believe. And it's called Inspiring Hope. And we're going to be asking the supplier community around the nation to please support Inspiring Hope. And for a $12,000 donation, a company can be on our Wall of Hope. It's like an honor wall of hope. And that's going to be up on our website year-round. And then restaurants as well, if they want to participate, we've got a lot of vendors that would love to partner with you on any kind of promotion. We've got, Tito's Vodka, Jose Cuervo, Patron, Barefoot Wine, and others. And there's a whole list of partners on our website too. Or, some restaurants might want to say, oh, add a side of hope and ask consumers just to donate $1 and raise money for this industry. So there are all kinds of fun, creative things to do, but we have a fall campaign we call Serving Up Hope, which is where, we serve up grants to families around the country. So we're super excited about Inspiring Hope that will launch in April and will be an annual campaign.
One of the things that I hear when you say that is some of the names that you just mentioned were big winners in this year's Proof Awards. And some of them were double gold and 100-point Century Award winners. And for those organizations that are part of your existing family, let's find a way that if they step up and do the $12,000 program of hope, that we'll have them back on the show with a special thank you from Proof Live.
Yeah, and the ones I mentioned are our diamond partners. And so the presenting partners, and they've already stepped up to core. And they're actually our presenting partners for this campaign will be Barefoot Wines and Patron, and we're super excited.
Well, then we'll get who's ever coming on. We'll make sure that we get them on Food and Beverage Magazine Live if they step up as well. So you be sure to let us know when you get your big sponsors in, because we love the people at both Patron and the Barefoot family of Goody Wines.
Thank you.
So thank you for being with us and for the good work you're doing. And please know that you've got, crusaders over here ready to step up anytime we can be helpful or useful and in service to these great kids.
Thank you. And I do want to add a note that anyone can be a volunteer for CORE. It's our ambassador program where they can sign up, and then we provide newsletters monthly with content that they can share on social media, and even back of the house posters and resources that are on our website that they can easily email out to their restaurant customers, friends as well. But we invite everybody to be part of our CORE family.
Well, I know Michael Politz and I are going to have a chat about this and figure out how we can do more for you, but we're thrilled that Victoria brought you and your fantastic work to the table today. And we're just so grateful for everything you and your colleagues are doing. So thank you very much.
Jennifer, thank you to you and Michael for inviting CORE to be part of the discussion today and getting the word out about CORE. So any questions at all, please reach out to us, whoever's listening. Thanks.
Thanks an awful lot. Cheers.
All right.
Remember, hug your kids and count your.
Absolutely. Thank you.